Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a great one out there. Thank you as always. I appreciate you stopping on by, coming on in. Today, we're going to listen to a little Blue Oyster Cult. We're going to listen to this track off of their album, Imaginos. This is going to be off their 11th studio album, released in 1988. We're going to listen to this track. Boy, what a title. The Siege and Investiture of Baron von Frankenstein's Castle at Weisseria. It's kind of interesting. We're listening to this track because it was suggested and sponsored by Eric. So Eric, thank you so much for the support and for the recommendation. And it had also been mentioned by Hip Hip Hippo Bo and Token Cop Zwerg. Hopefully I pronounced that all correctly. So thank you guys so much for the suggestion. So with Blue Oyster Cult, we've heard a couple songs here and there. I actually have one of their albums on my wish list of albums to get to, of which there's 260, but I got them listed in there. I do have a couple of, or at least one of their albums there on the wish list there. And then looking at the title of this, did you guys see the Frankenstein that came out a while ago on Netflix? I really liked it. I love Guillermo del Toro, and I love his works. Pan's Labyrinth is my favorite movie of all time, period. And I really liked it. I thought it was a really great retelling of the classic story. And speaking of classic stories, my wife got me a Kindle for Christmas. And so I've been personally trying to go back and read like classic literature and stuff. So I just started yesterday reading Dracula for the first time. I'm already about 30% of the way through. It's a better, not that I was expecting a bad book, but it's better than I expected. And the storytelling aspect and the way that it's told is actually very interesting and different than, like I said, what I expected. Okay, let's go and listen to the track. We'll talking about other stuff too long. Let's go and listen to it. We'll discuss it after. Here we go. That's like the lightning coming down. Jeez. Almost sounds like Dio. S. Jeez. Heavy chords. Big chords. This is hitting like a holy diver kind of. It's a lot, very heavy. Look at that rhythm slow down. Punchy. It's just huge. I love how the piano comes through in so many aspects through this track. Right, anthem, of course. Well, I love the fade out with solo and vocals leaving. I like this quasi-choir-like aspect that we've kind of shifted into here. One more time. I mean, that's brilliant. That is heaviness and goodness and melody all in a great, nicely tightly wrapped package. The riffs are huge. It's epic. This is a track that ends the first side of the album. So although I have no experience with this album, it does kind of wrap things up, you can imagine, in a contextual point of view. And I mean, the guitarists are just tidal waves. The vocals are absolutely brilliant here. That's going to be Joey Cirisano. On the vocals here, if I'm pulling up his Wikipedia page and article. He experienced his first taste of mainstream success as frontman for Silver Condor. He's gone on to appear as a vocalist for many other places. Obviously, Blue Oyster Cult, apparently Trans-Siberian Orchestra, backup for Korn. In quite a few places he showed up, and actually fantastic vocals. The style of his vocals, and then also to an extent the style of the song, is really reminding me of Dio. I mean, to me, this really does give heavy, holy diver vibes from top to bottom. I could not get it out of my head, but hey, not a bad place, not necessarily if they took inspiration or not from, but not necessarily a bad path to follow, or at least a tread, because it sounds really brilliant. I love all the keyboards and pianos that are kind of strewn throughout, because the title, implies Frankenstein or Dr. Frankenstein, and perhaps even his monster and such. And I love how, to me at least, there's a slightly heavy gothic-esque aspect to the music, and then those piano lines and the key lines that come through. To me, it almost accents that heaviness of the guitar and the bass and the drums with something of like a lightning strike. There's something, little crackles and veins of lightning kind of coming down and, hitting the tower or behind the castle, kind of giving it a little bit of a more heavier gothic kind of light. And I think that works incredibly well here in this track. And then it also kind of makes me think of like, while there isn't necessarily any in this track, like almost like an organ-esque visual. There's no organ in this track, as far as I could hear, but the piano lines and the way that they're played give the same effect. Like I said, kind of that cathedral, gothic kind of tone and structure and sound, which is really fantastic. Then you have on this track playing some guitar, you have Joe Satriani playing lead guitar here. And I mean, his solo just comes in and just tears it all down. That is the lightning from the sky, raising the dead, reanimating the dead. And then I like how the end, how it fades out, only leaving the vocals, which act almost as like some sort of unholy choir that's kind of singing out this anthemic line over and over. And then the guitar, which just kind of strews itself throughout the backing section there. And of course, the drums bring it back in. Very heavy track. Drums performed by Tommy Price, I'm going to assume here. Who's played here, of course, in this band, but also with many others. The Waterboys, Blue Oyster Cult, Psychedelic Furs, I almost said, I don't know what I was going to say, and many others from there as well. So just a really well-rounded track. It's really exciting, and you could definitely feel like, in my opinion, although I haven't heard anything else from this album or know of anything of this album, it definitely feels like at least some sort of bookend to a certain section of it. Let's look at these lyrics. There's not really too many to look at. On the terminal points of the cul-de-sac, patients are dying, the horses are dazed. From the glare of stars, the starry wisdom, owned by the Baron, and he's got the cure. A drug by the name of World Without End. Is that like, World Without End because he's looking for immortality or life without end. So your world is without end in a sense. Come and take this, carpe diem, world without end. You'll be inventor. Invention, letter, earth, wind, rhymed like the real, or end real as the rhyme. Imagine this, Baron, inventor of rhymes. I mean, this seems almost like alchemic a little bit. And it's just making me think of Dr. Frankenstein and, the science and such behind raising the monster. Imagine he was me and I was called Frankenstein. Carpe diem, of course, seize the day. He was me and I was called Frankenstein. Phrase not without end. Now, I did notice when I was scrolling down that there's a lot of information on this album. Like, it started up here when I opened the page, and I was scrolling down to the personnel list, and I saw there's a lot happening on here. Maybe we can get some insight. Allow me to Control F this here. Okay, what do we got here? Here's the Siege. Concept. Imaginos was envisioned as a rock opera to be published as a trilogy of double albums, with the storyline encompassing 200 years of history from the beginning of the 19th century to the end of the 20th. Represents an abbreviated version of the first volume of that planned trilogy, but with the songs arranged out of order, rendering the story harder to comprehend. Okay. I like a little bit of unpredictable conceptual structure. Even when the song's lyrics are analyzed in the chronological order that was devised by the authors and is followed in this section, the narrative progression is scarce, and the content often difficult to decipher for the casual reader. All right, but it is possible to construct the story. Although often referred to as a... I'm not reading this whole thing. The concept is what Perlman described as an interpretation of history, an explanation of the onset of World War I, or a revelation of the occult origins of it, which he crafted on elements of mythology, sociology, alchemy, there you go, science, and occultism. This combination of horror story and fairy tale cites historical facts and characters and is filled with literary references to ancient civilizations. So where are we? All right, so from this point, I know I skipped most of the story. Imaginos becomes a tool and less invisible as a manipulation of human history. For the next 63 years, he insinuates himself into the world of European politics, uses his ability to change identities to take the place of high-ranking officials, whose offices he uses to bring about Les Invisible's will, introducing new knowledge and technology to the unsuspecting world. And that's where the song we just listened to. So he's kind of like a Prometheus, bringing the fire from the gods to little old us. Come and take this. You'll be inventor. That kind of makes sense, at least in that portion. Obviously, I don't have the exact context with all this, but at least in this little sliver of context, this does make sense. He was me, and I was called Frankenstein. I just need the little grasp. I don't need the whole story, but I just need at least a little bit of context just to make it make sense. At least in part. Let me know what you guys thought of it, of course, in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for the recommendation. I appreciate it. Thank you, Eric, once again for the support and the suggestion. This was a nice, heavy wake up, because right now it's the first thing I'm recording this morning, and this was a nice way to wake up. Enjoy the rest of your day, morning, afternoon, or night, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.